Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. I think you'll agree it's absolutely right that we all decided to continue with this campaign in spite of the appalling events in London. We cannot let our democracy be halted by terrorism. It is a moment of hope and opportunity. And I can assure you that there are plenty of people in Brussels, and indeed some in this country, who have spent night and day since June the 23rd dreaming, hoping, scheming, and plotting that they will be able to reverse that decision. And I ask you, do we want them to frustrate the will of the people? Taking back control of our cash. Can you imagine Jeremy Corbyn having the grip and the determination to take back control of the 10 billion net, 20 billion gross that we send to Brussels every year? Do you think he has the firmness of purpose to do it? A guy who sends out a signal to all would-be terrorists that he disapproves of shoot to kill, even when those terrorists are threatening unarmed civilians. A guy who preemptively informs any power that wishes to engage in nuclear blackmail that as our Prime Minister, he, Corbyn, would not, under any circumstances, deploy Trident, so making a nonsense of our nuclear deterrent. He has taken the side of just about every adversary this country has had in my lifetime. From the IRA to Hamas, from Soviet communism to General Galtieri, for heaven's sake. And of course, I don't mean to compare our European friends to any of those people, but it is psychologically impossible to imagine him having the grip or the firmness to get the right Brexit deal for this country. A Corbyn negotiating team would arrive in Brussels like a family of herbivores at the watering hole of the lions. They'd be eaten for breakfast. We Conservatives took Britain into what was then called the common market, not because we specially loved the idea of losing our sovereignty. In fact, we were always anxious about that, but because we are always and have been the true internationalists. And when we joined in 1972, it felt as if being international meant being in the common market. Do you remember? And 45 years later, it's time to do even more. It's time to lift our eyes to the horizon, to a wider horizon. And we believe it's this country's destiny to engage not just with our friends and partners in the EU, but with the whole of the rest of the world, the 93% of humanity that does not live in the EU, as well, of course, as those that do. If we are to make the most of that opportunity, then we need the right economic policies. And it makes me shudder to think that we could seriously be about to elect a Corbyn-led administration that would impose destructive new taxes on businesses, on homes, on gardens, at the very moment when we should be about to go forward with a great new global Britain. Corbyn would take us back to the 1970s, complete with a loony left and union control.